Watch Hotel is back, and I am back because I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and you guys are why this. But we're not gonna talk about that, okay? It was, yeah. But I'm back. About Saturday's main event, I decided not to do it because what's the point of doing Saturday's main event, really? I mean, the show was decent because it was in Madison Square Garden and all that, but still, I'll do my SummerSlam. I'll do SummerSlam. There's that. But later on, you will see SummerSlam 1993 on here. But I'll be back on the Thursday schedules for this Thursday. So sorry about that. I know Showdown's gonna be tomorrow. So oh, there's that. But we're back, and don't worry. Everything's okay. I'm okay. So there's that. So anyways, we're gonna talk about fully loaded 1999. So get back to the 1999 schedule, but we're not gonna do it again until October for No Mercy, and then we're not gonna do it again until December to Armageddon. So last time I was on here was King of the Ring, which was not good. You obviously know. Anyways, July 25th, it was in the Maryland Arena in Buffalo, New York. So yeah. Let's talk about this. This is basically what happened afterwards. So Stone Cold won the WWF Championship at the night after King of the Ring, and this led to the first blood match between him and Undertaker in the end of air match where Vince puts his career on the line, all that. Which, yeah, right, Vince wouldn't come back like what 2 months later. Spoilers in the main event, but there's that. Also on this has nothing to do with the show, but I got to talk about the Sunday Heat promo from Triple H where he talked about he said he's the fucking game and all that. Yeah, he dropped an F bomb on Heat, but it was bleeped and all that. And yeah, um, so there is that. So anyways, let's get on to the main show. So here we go. Um, with Floyd Lloyd and all that for the Intercontinental Championship, Jeff Jarrett defeated Edge to win back the Intercontinental Championship because Edge won the title the night prior on a house show, and I guess just for the Toronto fans to be happy about, but still, what was the it was there. Gangrel got involved and all that, but that was basically it. Um, and then afterwards, speaking of that, on the Heat, Stone Cold got interviewed and gets attacked by the Undertaker, setting up this whole show long story for the first blood match and all that. So there's that. And then afterwards, Stone Cold came out to stun Jeff Jarrett for reasons. Literally no reason whatsoever. The match was okay, I guess. 6 out of 10, I'll give it. Anyways, then we get the Acolyte Rules match for the tag titles. It's basically just a 3-on-2 handicap match, really. The Acolytes of Farouk and Bradshaw defeat the Hardys and Michael Hayes. Yeah, the Hardys were the tag champs, by the way. They won them the night after and all that. Well, or was it a tape? Or was it like a week after? It was probably a week after, yeah. Yeah. Hayes didn't wrestle since 95 or something like that, but yeah. It was a fine handicap match, really. I like Bradshaw doing the clothesline to Jeff when he was trying to do this poetry motion and all that, but still, it was a decent match. I got a 6.5 out of 10, and Acolytes would not hold the title again until 2001, I believe. Because they dropped the belts to Kane and X-Pac and all that. Then we got for the European Championship. Yeah, Minion was the champion because he found it in a bag. And Shane says, oh, you can have it. What? Anyways, D'Lo Brown defeats Minion to win the European Championship. What a waste of a title run. 2 out of 10 this match gets. Probably the worst match on this show, perhaps. Ugh. Anyways, next up is for the Hardcore Championship. Big Boss Man defeats Al to win the Hardcore Championship. Jesus Christ, how many title changes do we have already? But don't worry, that's the last of the title changes. But yeah, this is before the dog stuff. And Kennel from Hell. Yeah. Because Al Snow was hearing voices in his head because his head, the mannequin head that is, got a railroad spike in it. Yeah, they brawled all around. There was a blooper where he was supposed Bossman was used to some other vehicle, but it didn't work. It didn't work for him. And they go outside, and Bossman won the title outside the building. I mean, fun hardcore match. It was 6.5 out of 10. I'll give it. Then we got a match where Hardcore Holly is the special guest referee. Big Show defeats Kane. Not good either, but I mean, this up Undertaker, Big Show as the team, and this up that SummerSlam tag title match, and that's basically it. But then afterwards, Stone Cold attacks the Undertaker and busts him open, so it was even for the main event. So yeah, but the match 3.5 out of 10. Why was Hardcore Holly the referee in this match? Literally. I don't understand that, really. Anyways, next up is an Iron Circle match, which is mostly just a parking lot brawl, really. But yeah, Ken Shamrock defeats Steve Blackman. One of two matches that it's kind of interesting to look at. This and the Lions match the next month at SummerSlam. It was a fun little match for 4 minutes, but... And yeah, I mean, seeing Viscera honking a fucking tire is hilarious, but still. It's mostly just a parking lot brawl, and you know, it was a fun little fight, really. And yeah, Shamrock, unfortunately, his days were numbered at this point. He was done at this point. By September, he was out. And yeah, kind of sucked, though, but still. So yeah, Ken won, and he won the next. He won the Lions match also, but still. You know, 5 out of 10 I'll give it. It was okay. Anyways, next up is a match to determine the rights to DX. Road Dogg and X-Pac defeats Billy Gunn in China, so it's just a good match, you know. It's a 7 out of 10 I'll give it, but Billy Gunn was the one who took the fall, and he's the King of Ring winner. And let me remind you about what happened afterwards. The God promo. You know about that. I already said that like 1,000 times already, so you already know. You know. And Billy Gunn's going to be in a program with The Rock for SummerSlam, but yeah. Anyways, there's that. Next up is a fully loaded Stratus to return the network contender for the WWF Championship match of the night, honestly. Triple H defeats The Rock to become the network contender for the title at SummerSlam, which we all know this is the beginning of Triple H's new persona, that's the game and all that. The game and all that and all that. And then Raw cuts this promo saying, for 5 years, they held me down, blah, blah, and all that. So Triple H won, and we obviously know what happened. I'm not going through the whole details about that. We obviously freaking know. Triple H was supposed to win the title at SummerSlam, but whatever your circumstances says, whatever circumstances you says, whatever. It was a thing. I talked about that before with my SummerSlam 99 review. 3 years ago on this channel. We all know. Moving on. 8.5 out of 10. Billy Gunn got involved in this match, and there's that. And then finally, the main event is the first match for the WWE Championship, and then this is the quote, end of an era. Because about that. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats the Undertaker. Since Undertaker lost, Vince McMahon has no longer appeared on the television for 2 fucking months. Because we already know about what happened on one of those early episodes of SmackDown. We all know. I already talked about that in my Unforgiven review 2 years ago now. And also there's another stipulation that if Austin lost, he was no longer able to challenge for the WWE Championship again. Lol. But we also know that didn't happen either. This was a very good match still. They bust each other up before this match. That's the good point about that. And this was the end of the corporate ministry era, which thank God. Because that whole thing went downhill ever since Vince revealed his sense of higher power. And, yeah, a lot of crazy shit. Shane got involved and got a headshot from Stone Cold. Cringy as fuck. Hold on 1 minute. Anyways, X-Pac got involved and gives Undertaker a Van Damme real. Yeah, literally, it was. And Austin grabs a TV camera and hits Undertaker in the head and busts him open, and Vince is no longer in the company for 2 months. Because these stipulations don't mean fucking nothing. And then Triple H now attacks Stone Cold, and then The Rock comes in, it's all that, and Vince gets a stunner, and then after Jim Ross says, nah, hey, goodbye. Because Stone Cold wants Jim Ross to say that to him, and gives him a middle finger to that. And yeah, 8 out of 10, the stipulation doesn't mean nothing afterwards, but still. All in all, Fully Loaded 1999 was a decent pay-per-view, again. It was mostly better than WCW Bash at the Beach, which I did 2 years back, which, God, you know about that pay-per-view. I did that 2 years ago. Alright, so there's that. Still. It was a 6.5 out of 10 pay-per-view. I'll be back later for my SummerSlam 1983 review. There's that. And then another episode of Showdown, which that was supposed to be last week, but with all that nonsense happened to me, it happened. It's happening tomorrow, so my apologies for that. Still. And we're done now. For now. I'll be back later for my SummerSlam 93 review. So there. Bye-bye.